Coming up on our broadcast for tonight, an earthquake strikes outside of Indonesia.
And a Vietnamese man follows his American dream.
Following that is sports, the weather, world news, and the Bryant update.
And it all starts right now.
Straight from the Bulldog Studios at Bryant University, this is the Bryant News Broadcast, hosted by Todd Stewart and Sarah Larrabee, featuring Nolan Thompson with the weather, Brian Walsh and Chad Saber with sports, Dana Arenik with the Bryant Update, and Doug Sieber with the World News. This episode is sponsored by the Media Production Club.
Our broadcast starts off on the coast of Indonesia, where a powerful 8.6 magnitude quake struck the country, resulting in a serious panic. The earthquake was said to be 14 miles beneath the seafloor, which caused many people to evacuate to higher ground. But keep in mind that this quake is in a similar location to the previous 9.1 magnitude tremor on December 2004, where 230,000 people were killed. Thankfully, the threat has now diminished, and this morning there has been no reports of damages. In political news today, Republican presidential hopeful Rick Santorum dropped out of the race Tuesday afternoon, saying that we were very concerned about our role being the best parents we could possibly be to our children. Santorum's 3-year-old daughter, Bella, who has a rare genetic condition called trisomy 18, was hospitalized this weekend after she came down with pneumonia. Bella was released from the hospital yesterday, and her condition is now improving, but the incident played a major part in Santorum's decision to drop out of the race. After this shocking news, Mitt Romney's campaign quickly sent out a statement saying he has proven himself to be an important voice in our party and in the nation.
How would you like to buy your very own town? On Monday, one Vietnamese man made internet history after buying the town of Beaufort in the state of Wyoming for $900,000. The online auction for the 10-acre town only lasted 11 minutes, and the winning bid went to the man who is searching for his American dream. The town consists of one home, a convenience store, and its own gas station. So as the weather continues to become warmer, Olympic game fans are anticipating the start of the 2012 Summer Olympics. The Games will be held in London this year, but many health officials are concerned that with such a large concentration of people in one place, the threat of disease could become dangerous. However, new health technology is being used to create a, quote, healthy map to find out where visitors are coming from in hopes of preventing the spread of any sort of disease. Even though the Games will be the biggest event of the summer, safety is always the #1 concern. So as the semester winds down, but the temperatures are increasing, let's check in with Nolan to see how this week's weather is looking. Nolan?
Well, thanks, Sarah. As you can see, sadly, we do have some rain in the area, and it's going to stay in the area going into the weekend. We've got a chance of showers coming up on Thursday, a pretty good chance, but other than that, should clear up both Friday and Saturday. Sunday, there's a slight chance of rain. Monday was looking like some sunshine, and Tuesday and Wednesday, again, looking like rain. I guess a high note for the week, though, is you can look for rising temperatures all the way through Sunday, where we should be reaching 70 degrees. Other than that, it's looking like a pretty wet April week ahead of us. Well, that's your weather this week. Now over to Brian and Chad with sports.
Thanks, Nolan. On Tuesday afternoon, Athletic Director Jeff Long announced his decision to fire Arkansas head football coach Bobby Petrino. 51-year-old Petrino, who is a married father of 4, had multiple chances over the past 10 days to come clean to Long about a relationship that had crossed the line from infidelity into workplace favoritism. A very emotional athletic director, Jeff Long, quoted, he, referring to Petrino, made the decision, a conscious decision, to mislead the public on Tuesday, and in doing so negatively and adversely affected the reputation of the University of Arkansas and our football program. In short, Coach Petrino engaged in a pattern of misleading and manipulative behavior designed to deceive me and the members of the athletic staff, both before and after the motorcycle accident." End quote. Lon has also clarified that Petrino, who was fired with cause, meaning he will not receive the $18 million buyout his contract called for. Bobby Petrino issued an apology, which he quoted, "The simplest response I have is, I'm sorry. These 2 words seem very inadequate, but that is my heart. I accept full responsible for what has happened." End quote. Overall, it's an extremely sad day for the Petrino family and the Arkansas community. Now over to Brian.
It's a sad day in Arkansas indeed, Chad. Petrino was a great coach for the Razorbacks. Now, in national news, it appears the deadlock between Chicago Bears running back Matt Forte and the team is not coming to an end. Forte last season let his team know that he wanted a long-term deal. What did they do? Instead of giving him a long-term deal, they went out and signed free agent running back Michael Bush. Forte's been the heart and soul of the Bears' offense, accounting for at least 20% of the team's offense. And before they pay him, they sign a backup? I wouldn't blame Forte personally for holding out. When you produce, you deserve to get a new contract. And now in the NFC North, it's very tough this year with teams like Green Bay and Detroit. They're going to need Forte in order to compete in that division. And now to our banter. The one-and-done rule has recently come under scrutiny from the NCAA. The NCAA wants to change the rule from at least 1 year to 2 years for players to be in college. Coaches such as John Calipari are abusing the rule, and kids should be there for at least 4 years to help the school win national championship. With coaches like Calipari, his greatest accomplishments are not titles, but how many first-round picks come out of his school? Now, Chad, do you agree with the one-and-done rule, or do you think they should change it?
I personally believe they should change it to the two years. I'll take Kyle Irvin as a perfect example. He came into Duke as a freshman, obviously, but got a little banged up, so he didn't play the full season. He did play, a little bit of the season, but then they went straight to the NBA. I would have liked Kyle Irvin to play at least one full season to see what he would do. So I'd like the 2-year rule just to have players like him around in college basketball. But I know in the NBA, it's not like football where, out of the NBA, you can go straight from players have the talent to go to high school to the NBA just like that. So they don't really need that college 1 year. It was just a rule. But I would personally like to see players like Kyle Irvin stay around in college for a little bit. Personally,
I like the one-and-done rule. I mean, players coming straight out of high school was pretty bad, so the NBA initiated the 1-year rule because they need to see if they're ready. Guys like Dwight Howard and LeBron James don't really come off trees. They came straight out of high school, and they were the stars coming out of high school, and now they're doing amazing in the NBA, but there were so many other busts. That's why the 1-year rule should be in there, because players should see, hey, am I really a first-round talent? Am I Anthony Davis going to get that first overall pick in the big dollars? Or am I going to be not even, in the draft? Am I not going to get drafted? And then, they should stay in college for 3 or 4 more years. It would be nice to see, but I really don't think that's realistic from an NBA standpoint. All right, now that was sports. Now over to Dana with the Bryant News Update.
Thanks, Brian and Chad. Bryant University's 2nd Annual Research and Engagement Day, also known as Red Day, will be held on Wednesday, April 18th. Classes are canceled from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. as all faculty, staff, and industry and community partners, and also all students, are strongly encouraged to display their research, creativity, and academic accomplishments in the Bryant community. The Red Day Planning Committee also invites everyone to incorporate Red Day into your courses as much as possible. Back to you, Todd and Sarah.
Thanks, Dana. And wrapping up the show for us today is Doug with the World News. Doug?
Thanks, Todd. Our top story for today, a UN-backed ceasefire has finally taken effect in Syria today, resulting in both eerie and unsettling silence across the nation. The ceasefire, which took effect at dawn on Thursday and is at this point intended to continue indefinitely, has received a mix of criticism and praise. While the temporary end to the fighting is considered good, the lull has done little so far to convince opposition activists and Western powers of the president's good faith in observing a lasting peace plan. In defiance of the ceasefire, Syrian troops and tanks are still in position inside many towns and cities. The exile opposition called the ceasefire only partially observed because of this, and its leaders urged a renewal on Friday of peaceful protests, which had been subdued lately, mostly due to fear. The Interior Ministry, at the same time, has released a statement urging rebels to surrender, promising to free those who have not killed, and broadcast an appeal to the thousands who fled battered cities like Homs and Hama and returned to the havens they found in Turkey, Lebanon, and within Syria. And in other news, Pakistan has released 26 Indian fishermen that had been held in prison for more than 2 years for violating territorial waters. The release, described as a goodwill gesture, comes days after President Asif Ali Zardari met Indian Prime Minister Manmohan Singh for lunch in New Delhi on the first visit by a Pakistani head of state to their arch-rivals in 7 years. The nuclear-armed neighbors frequently arrest each other's fishermen on charges of violating territorial waters. Officials say at this point at least 450 Indian men
and Indian fishermen are still in Pakistani jails, while India has over 150 Pakistani fishermen in its prisons. Well, that's all we have for tonight. I'll turn it back over now to Todd and Sarah.
Thanks, Doug. And for all of us from the cast and crew here at the Bryant News Broadcast, I'm Todd Stewart.
And I'm Sarah Larrabee. Make sure to catch us here every week as we bring you more on the things that you want to know. Thanks and have a great night.